The form of government that has the greatest respect for civil and individual rights has proven to be, in this country, the one that is most likely to actually create an environment that guarantees more rights than any other government and assures more prosperity for individuals as well. So that was the thing that was scary to me. When they said, okay, everybody stay at home, I thought there was going to be massive protests. And I was just shocked when everybody was like, not only complying, but clamoring for it. Clamoring, people give you a hard time if you didn't wear a mask. People give you a hard time if, those things were the most troubling. And the lingering effects, I would say, on one side of the political spectrum from that are very concerning, because they have continued to maintain this notion of, no, you just got to give up all your rights. And the government knows best. Yeah, not a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. Here we are in 2026. We are at our 250th anniversary this year, and we lurch forward. And there are, so many people out there talking about, the dollar's going to collapse. They got, you got all this disparity kind of gospel stuff, and you got the people that are, the American exceptionalism. Kind of where do you fall? What's your hunch if you were to be put on your prophet hat, Aaron, and look down the road 10 years? What do you see? Particularly, let's use the vaccine, because that's your work. What happens? What's going to happen? More coercion? We get rid of the 1986 rule? What do you think? What's your sense?
I would say that if over the next 10 years we do not reverse course in terms of the regulatory state, in terms of increasing our national deficit, then we're going to see decline of the American, let's call it, empire, so to speak. Okay. Because if you look through history, let's learn from it. The direction that we're taking in that regard is often what has brought nations to their knees, and has, put them on the wrong footing in terms of, okay. So we've got to get those things under control. All right. We're 38 trillion in debt, and we bring in 5 trillion in revenue. That's not every year. And we're spending 6-7 trillion on our ballparks. That's not sustainable. You can't run a business like that. Who's going to invest in you as a business? Nobody. And so much of our dollars held in national reserve currencies around the world. That's what helps prop up our dollar, among other factors. That's why you get to afford the standard of living you have. You like that. You can buy goods pretty cheap here, in part because so many countries are holding our money as their national reserve, among other factors. Well, what happens once we get too far in debt? What's going to happen is they're going to be like, ooh, maybe we should start diversifying away from the dollar, maybe hold more euro, more franc, more digital currency. That's going to cause a problem. In fact, if they all did it overnight, we could be in a death spiral, right? Very scary. If we continue to create shackles upon shackles upon shackles and doing anything in this country economically, which is what every layer of regulation and law pass has. I'm not saying there's no place for laws and regulation. Don't get me wrong. There absolutely are. But most regulations, in my opinion, are no longer being passed to help you, Matt, or me, or any individuals. They're there because who's got the time, inclination to actually influence these regulatory agencies to pass regulations? It's the very people that are supposed to regulate. Every year, Congress passes around 200 laws, but thousands of regulations that have the same effect as laws passed by Congress are passed by these federal regulatory agencies.